Hello my friends, welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. This is Jennifer. I want to welcome you guys to the sewing hole. Last week I told you that I've been sewing on the dining room table since the pandemic began and that I've been having to move my stuff back and forth a lot. And it really got me thinking about how much more productive I am when I have a place set up all the time. As a quick recap, my sewing room is currently being used as a guest room. I decided, you know what, we have a garage. We don't park in the garage. We haven't done it for years. My frame is out here. We put our Christmas stuff away, and then I pulled out sheets from our donation pile and I basically covered everything I could possibly cover, stuck a table in, and this is my new little sewing space. This is a temporary solution to an ongoing problem that was temporary before the pandemic and now is like, who knows? You know, we're just writing it out to see how it goes. And at this point, like, I just want a place to sew. I want a place that I can keep stuff, where I don't have to put my machine away. And this is it. So I'm calling this the sewing hole because I carved this little space out of one side of our garage. Behind this sheet is where like our Halloween and Christmas stuff is, and our luggage is up there. This little table, it was my grandmother's and my daughter used it for a couple of years, and it's not a very big table, but sewing machine fits on it just fine. Behind me is actually one of my old cutting tables that I used to fold laundry on because my washer and dryer are right there. But the great thing is that like my quilt frame is here. All the quilt tops that I finished are here. They're actually under a sheet because I'm not quilting yet. And I'm working to get this space functional. As soon as I have it all set up, I'm still figuring it out. As soon as I have it all set up, I'll do a little tour. So I do have some finished projects to show you guys, and I am really happy that that is a thing. I am still sewing with my left foot, but now that I can keep my right foot on the floor longer, it is a lot easier. It's very hard to sew with your left foot if you have to keep your right foot elevated all the time. It's just really uncomfortable, like my hip would hurt and my back would hurt. It was not very conducive to creativity. The first thing I have to share is really noisy, so I want to apologize for that before I start. This is a very practical project that I just popped in my head when we were cleaning up from Christmas. I wanted a place to keep my wreath. We have a wreath, it's like a battery operated wreath where the lights come on for 6 hours and then they turn off for 18 hours, which is just, it's fantastic. I love this wreath. Downside, it is covered in glitter. When it came, it was in a box and it was really flat. So we puffed it up, but we didn't want to squash it again to put it back in the box because again, glitter. I have a plethora of IKEA bags. We have an IKEA like 20 minutes away and I get a bag every time I go pretty much. And I use them for like donations, and I mean, Linus uses them for donations, so a lot of times I give the one, if I pick one or two up, I will just donate it to Linus. So pulled a couple of IKEA bags out. I deconstructed them, sewed some of the pieces back together to make larger pieces of fabric, and I made a wreath bag. It's two 24-inch circles, a 6-inch gusset with a zipper, and I recycled the handles. I don't know if I'll use them because I don't really want my wreath like getting squashed on the bottom. This is not as hard as it probably looks. I cut out a 24-inch circle. The gusset is actually, the bottoms of the bags are about 12.5, 13 inches wide. I cut them into 6-inch strips and pieced them together to make this circle. The zipper, I literally taped it to the underside of the gusset, sewed it on, and then just cut a hole for the zipper. Because I mean, this isn't gonna fray or anything, so this is just, I just sliced it with my scissors. So very happy with this. It will keep the dust out, keep the glitter in. And it didn't cost me anything because I already had everything on hand. I've also been doing like a bunch of mending and just tiny projects that needed to get done that were kind of backing up while I wasn't sewing since surgery. And one of the things I have wanted to do since 2018. In 2018, my husband and I went to Scotland and England, and I bought a rain jacket at a thrift store that I wore during that whole trip. I think I have a picture of myself wearing this jacket with Vicky in Lindisfarne on the Holy Island off the North Sea. So anyway, I bought this jacket for a very inexpensive thrift store, and it didn't have a belt. And for like 2019, 2020, I was like, I'm gonna make a belt for this jacket. I'm gonna make a belt. So I finally made a belt. So this is the jacket. I think I paid like $10 or $11 for it. This is two 2.5-inch strips. So You can see it's two different fabrics. I just cut pieces off of this one and put them on the ends. This is a 1.5 inch strip of it's a white pin dot. And I sewed that to the edges, turned it, got the nice like 1/4 inch edge there, top stitched it, belt. It took me 15 minutes to make this belt, and it's been on my to-do list for 2 years. I brought my serger down here too, which is here. Yesterday I trimmed and serged the edges of the Star Wars fleece that Crystal gave me. It was in my Get Well package that she sent me. Also included in that were quilts that she sent for me to add to my Linus count, which I really appreciate. Those will be going in my January Linus count. I think I'm gonna go ahead and donate this to Linus. I trimmed it, I curved the edges using just like a little round plate, and then I just serged the edges with black thread so that it's got a nice finished edge on it. It's a nice size. I think it was probably 2 yards, and I think it would make a great teen size blanket. It is a Star Wars The Force Awakens fleece. So I'm gonna sew a Linus label on this. I've already washed it, and it will go out with my January donations. Guys, I have been so busy. I feel like my mojo just like turned back on when I was able to start walking again, and I can't stop making things. I'm not even gonna show you everything I've done because a lot of it's like little stuff like mending and whatever, but I've done a lot. So from my husband's late mom's estate, there was a lot of furniture. There's actually some like on this side of me underneath sheets that we haven't figured out where to put yet. One of the things that was in her apartment, she lived in like a assisted living apartment, was a vanity stool, and it was a really nice vanity stool, but she clearly had it a very, very long time. It was in pretty rough shape. The vinyl was peeling off. It was flaking everywhere. It got everywhere when we brought it home. It got everywhere when I moved it around. I had actually put like a cat quilt. I have some little quilts that I made for my cats that I had put that on top so that it would be a surface you could sit on without having vinyl all over your behind. I took this completely apart and I spray painted the base because the base was like a brushed nickel color and just not really my color. So I spray painted the base and I pulled out some vinyl coated quilting cotton that I have had for a really long time. Years and years ago, I got it from the Linus Mall, and I've had a couple people ask because I did post something to social media about the Linus Mall. The Linus Mall is not as glamorous as it sounds. We meet in a church preschool, and inside the front door, I'm gonna get weepy because we haven't met since February of last year. So yeah, I think it was February of last year. Inside the front door, there's a church pew. We put a big can on the pew, and then anybody can put stuff on the pew, and then you can, it's an honor system. You take what you want, you leave some money. You can put stuff there, stuff not appropriate for making quilts or crocheted or knitted blankets for children. So there was vinyl coated quilting cotton. They were salesman samples. We get a lot of salesman samples. The salespeople tend to be very kind to us and give us a lot of samples. So anyway, I bought this pack of sales samples. I think I've used one, maybe 2 pieces of it in all the time I've had it. It's got to be 4 or 5 years at this point. I cut up every piece of that except for one that didn't go at all with the colors and made them all into 3.5 inch squares, pieced them into a 24-inch block, give or take, that didn't have corners because I was making a circle. I covered my stool with it. So this is the stool. This is hammered black Rust-Oleum. This is I think this is Timeless Treasures Fabrics. I'm not sure. I am replacing the casters on this because the casters they're pretty shaky. I mean, I'm really glad that she never fell using this because I sat on it and rolled around a little bit, and she was like, my husband's mom was like 6 inches taller than me. So like, anyway, the casters were scary, and so I took them off and ordered some new casters. I got rollerblade casters because I'm in the garage, and they're like, I've got extension cords taped down on the floor and stuff so that I have power over here, and I don't want to risk not having the clearance I need while I'm using this. But anyway, this is going to be my sewing stool. That is the TLDR of that really long story. I'm really happy with this, guys. It took me forever to get the old fabric off, but it was so like sheddy that I didn't want to leave it on there and have that stuff just I wanted it off. Very worth it, worth the effort, worth the time. And I just keep petting it because the seams feel so nice. I made it just like any other quilt. I pieced the 3.5 inch squares, pressed to one side, and then I did a 1/4 inch. We're gonna say a 1/4 inch more or less. My lines aren't all perfectly straight because I'm a little out of practice, but I did a straight stitch on either side of the seam just to lock everything in place and stapled it on. And there it is. I did have a little bit of mail to share. I don't want to spoil this if anybody else got this, but I got a little bag in the mail from Jeannie, and it's full of special goodies, which, like I said, I don't want to spoil it. I'm very grateful. This is so kind. I will tell you, Jeannie, that I'm going to be driving again soon, and this is going in my car. So this is already really long, but I've decided I don't care. It's my first video of 2021. I saw my doctor this morning, and I have been cleared for physical therapy. I'm walking more right now than I was walking leading up to my surgery. I have no pain. I've been afraid to say that out loud because I've been afraid that something's going to sneak up and grab me, but after spending 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, most of 2020, keeping in mind that I had surgery in 2016 to fix the problem I was having, and it didn't fix it, it actually made it worse. 5 years in pain, and it's gone. I'm still limping, and I'm still wearing my boot because my leg is very weak from not using it for 4 months. When the physical therapist thinks I'm ready, I get to move back into shoes. So I'm delighted. I am having a hard time sitting down. I do have to rest and elevate my foot occasionally because I don't think I told you guys this 2 weeks ago, but my bone graft is still healing. It was over 50% healed 2 weeks ago when I was allowed to become weight bearing. It takes a really long time for it to heal. So, but I mean, even though it's still healing, I don't feel any pain. Yeah, so I'm trying not to tear up right now because I just saw my doctor and just found out she is leaving medical practice, possibly forever. And she will still be around until I'm done. I will see her again in a month, and then that's probably it. And this woman, she saved my life. She took away the thing that exhausted me, that grounded me, that stressed me out, that made me, it made me not be who I was anymore. And it's been a long, long journey to get here. And yeah, I'm totally making her a quilt. So you have that to look forward to. I literally just decided today, and so I have to think about that. But yeah, so yeah, pain-free. I will be participating in the Project of Doom this year. I will talk about that more in other videos. We are starting on the 13th, so I'm looking forward to that. It is a multi-fandom. All the information is on fandomandstitches.com. As everything else we do, it is free for personal and nonprofit use only. If you are a TTMTer, and you haven't posted it in a while, we'd love to have you back. If you would like to join us and you haven't, please do. Please do. All the information on how to do it's on our website. My brain is just going like 1,000 miles an hour. That's it. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being my friends and being my Talk to Me Tuesday family. And very happy New Year. I will see you next week. Bye.